Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Hello. It's answering the call, the purpose for your life. Now, the Most High God, He speaks to me through parables, stories. And my assignment is to give what I have received. And I just want to get a couple of things, in order. Sometimes when I say him, it doesn't necessarily mean gender specific. Just like in scripture it says man. It's not always talking about the physical man and gender, but mankind. So, with that being said, today the story is about the philanthropist. There was a philanthropist. He had what would be considered mental challenges because he would have extreme highs, but he also would have extreme lows. Now, he made a deal with himself. He said, you know what? When I feel like I'm getting down to my lows, I'm going to give. So he came up with a strategy. He said, I'm going to give $100 to someone homeless whenever I feel like I'm getting down, or I'm going to pay a bill of someone that is in need. So as time went on, he started to notice that his highs began to get higher and his lows, they became bare minimum. Now, does that make him selfish? No. It actually makes him a better person because he's exercising self-love and donating to himself, but also he's donating love for his neighbor, which is anyone outside of yourself is considered your neighbor. So he got the process in order, but then a pandemic came, which forced him to stay in, him and his team. But during that pandemic, the philanthropist, he said, you know what? He told his team, he said, gather jars, and we're going to fill these jars. Since we can't go out now, when the pandemic is over, we'll give all of these blessings out accordingly. So, it got to the point where it was 10,000 jars. So the pandemic was finally over. So he told his financial advisors, all of those that were closest to him, he said, take all the jars and distribute them out to the needy and those that are going through hard times. So they took the jars, all his close friends and financial advisors, they took the jars, put them in their trunks, and they drive. They drive past the homeless people. They drive past the people that are going through, and they go to their homes. They bury those jars in their backyards and walls, some even in the churches. And then they go back to the philanthropist's home. And time goes on, and the philanthropist, he started noticing his home starts crumbling down. The ceiling, asbestos start falling. Drywall started, crumbling. He would make steps in his home and a hole would fall in the floor. So he's like, Lord. And then he started noticing his health started deteriorating. So he asked the Lord, he said, Lord, what is going on? He said, I give with a good heart. I gave all of these jars of hope, of treasure. What's going on? And the Lord spoke to him. He said, you gave, but the people who you trusted to give and distribute it, he said they had deceit in their hearts. So your gift never was received or given to the receiver. It was given to the greedy. So the moral of the story is sometimes the people who you trust the most are causing a spiritual assassination to your soul. So sometimes it's not just good to give, but to see where your gift is going. Because I would hate for you to be given with a good heart and it never gets to the person that it was intended to get to. That's why injustice for one is injustice for us all. No matter how that injustice may look, all praises to the Most High God of Israel.